The great meeting hall of the Galactic Council fell silent. Do-hyun stood at the center, looking up at the tall seats that rose in circles around him. His blue skin looked pale under the bright lights. His 3 fingers gripped the edge of the small platform where he stood. The HFY virus has killed over 8 million people across 3 star systems, he said. His voice shook slightly. Our best doctors have failed to find a cure. The sickness spreads faster than we can set up quarantines. The hall stayed quiet. The 50 council members from 20 different species all looked down at Do-hyun. No, one wanted to speak first. The news was too bad. Finally, Elder Jisoo stood up. Her long neck stretched forward, and the silver scales on her head caught the light. Chief Medical Officer Do-hyun, she said. What are our options? Do-hyun took a deep breath. We have tried everything our medical science knows. The virus changes too fast. It seems to learn from our treatments and become stronger. Could this be a weapon? Asked a council member from the back row. We have found no proof of that, said Do-hyun. But the virus does not act like anything we have seen in nature. Jisoo tapped her long fingers on the rail in front of her. Is there anyone who might have a different approach? Someone outside our normal medical circles? The room grew even quieter. Do-hyun knew what she was asking. Everyone did. You mean the humans, he said. A low murmur spread through the hall. The humans were the newest members of the galactic community. They had only been traveling among the stars for 60 years. Most species still saw them as primitive and dangerous. The humans have a history of disease on their homeworld, said Jisoo. They survived many deadly sicknesses without our level of technology. Perhaps they see things differently. They are violent, shouted a council member. They fought wars for thousands of years. Yes, said Jisoo calmly. And that is why they might understand a virus that acts like a weapon. The debate raged for hours. Do-hyun stood quietly, waiting for a decision. Finally, the council voted. By a small margin, they agreed to ask the humans for help. Commander Ho-jin walked through the white halls of the medical ship. The doctors and nurses moved quickly around him, their faces hidden behind protective masks. The ship held over 300 patients, all showing the early signs of the HFY virus. Ho-jin stopped at a door near the end of the hall. He pressed his hand against the scanner, and the door slid open. Inside, a small girl lay on a bed. Machines beeped softly next. To her. Father, she said weakly. You came. Ho-jin moved to her side, touching her forehead. Sumin was only 12 years old. Her skin felt hot. I will always come for you, he said. How do you feel today? Sumin tried to smile. The doctors say I am doing better than most. They gave me a new medicine. Ho-jin nodded, but he knew the truth. The new medicine only slowed the virus. It was not a cure. His daughter had maybe 3 weeks before the sickness would reach her brain. Sumin, I must go on a mission, he said. It is very important. Where will you go? She asked. Ho-jin hesitated. To Earth, to speak with the humans. Sumin's eyes grew wide. Like most children, she found humans fascinating. Will you meet real humans? Will you see their world? Yes, said Ho-jin. The council thinks they might be able to help with the sickness. The humans are clever, said Sumin. My teacher says they think differently than we do. Ho-jin did not tell her that this different thinking was what worried most people. Humans had a violent past. They solved problems in ways that often shocked other species. And Ho-jin had personal reasons to distrust them. His brother had died during the first contact with humans, a mistake that both sides called a tragic misunderstanding. I will be gone for 2 weeks, said Ho-jin. Your aunt will visit you every day. Will you bring me something from Earth? Asked Sumin. Ho-jin smiled. If I can. Later, as Ho-jin walked to his ship, his second-in-command Taiho joined him. The medical team is on board, said Taiho. Do-hyun sent his best virus experts. Good, said Ho-jin. How long to Earth? With the new jump drive, 3 days, said Taiho. The humans have been told we are coming. They seem eager to help. Of course they are, said Ho-Jin. This is their chance to show the galaxy they belong at the table with older species. You don't think they can help? Asked Taiho. Ho-Jin stopped walking. I think they will try something dangerous, something no sane species would try, and the Council will let them because we are desperate. The ship dropped out of jump space near Earth. Ho-Jin stood on the bridge looking at the blue planet on the main screen. They have such a wet world, said Taiho. No wonder they evolved strong immune systems. A small human ship approached them. A face appeared on the communication screen. A human woman with short black hair and eyes that looked tired but kind. Greetings, Commander Ho-Jin, she said. I am Dr. Yoon-young of the Earth Medical Coalition. We are honored by your visit, though we wish it came under better circumstances. Ho-Jin nodded stiffly. Thank you for your welcome, Doctor. We bring data on the Shikra virus and samples in secure containers. Excellent, said Dr. Yoon-young. We have prepared labs at our lunar facility. It will be safer to work there, away from Earth's biosphere. Ho-Jin frowned. You wish to study the virus on your moon? Yes, said Dr. Yoon-young. Our approach may involve some unorthodox methods. Working on the moon limits any possible contamination. What kind of unorthodox methods? Asked Ho-Jin sharply. Dr. Yoon-young seemed to choose her words carefully. We believe that to defeat this virus we must understand it completely. Not just kill it, but communicate with it at a molecular level. Ho-Jin looked at Taiho, who seemed just as confused. Communicate with a virus? That is not possible. Perhaps not with your methods, said another voice. A male human moved into view next to Dr. Yoon-young. I am Dr. Tae-won. We humans have a long history of living with viruses that tried to kill us. Sometimes fighting them made them stronger. We learned other approaches. Ho-Jin felt a cold sensation in his stomach. This was exactly what he had feared. The humans would try something strange and dangerous. But then he thought of Sumin lying in her hospital bed. The doctors said she had 3 weeks, maybe less. We will bring the samples to your moon facility, said Ho-Jin. But be warned. This virus has killed millions. If your communication fails, it could kill billions more. Dr. Yoon-young nodded seriously. We understand the risk, Commander. But sometimes the greatest danger comes from treating something only as an enemy, when you could make it a friend. Ho-Jin had no answer for this strange idea. As they prepared to follow the human ship to the moon, he sent a private message to the medical ship where Sumin stayed. Her condition had worsened overnight. The virus was moving faster than expected. He looked again at the blue planet. These humans with their strange ideas might be his daughter's only hope. Despite his fears, despite his memories of his brother's death, he had to trust them now. The fate of Sumin and millions like her depended on it. The lunar medical facility looked strange to Ho-Jin. Unlike the clean white medical centers of his people, this place had plants growing in clear tubes along the walls. Soft music played in the background. The lighting changed slowly throughout, the day mimicking Earth's natural cycles. Your facility seems unusual, Ho-Jin said as Dr. Yoon-young led him through the main lab. We believe healing environments matter, she replied. Life responds to its surroundings, even viruses. Ho-Jin frowned. Viruses are not alive in the true sense. That is one perspective, said Dr. Yoon-young. We see them differently. The human medical team worked in a large circular room. 20 doctors and scientists moved between stations, studying screens and samples. Ho-Jin noticed they did not wear the full protective suits his people used when dealing with deadly viruses. Where are your safety protocols? He asked, alarmed. This virus kills within days. Dr. Tae-won looked up from a screen. We tested the virus against human cell samples first. It seems we have partial natural immunity. Ho-Jin stared in shock. Impossible, the virus kills all known species. Not quite, said Tae-won. It makes us sick, yes. But our immune systems recognize something in it, something familiar. Dr. Yoon-young guided Ho-Jin to a large viewing screen. Look at this, she said. The screen showed tiny moving dots, the virus particles. As Ho-Jin watched, the image zoomed in closer. The structure of the virus became clear. See these protein formations? Yun-Young pointed. They resemble a virus that infected Earth bats for centuries. Our scientists studied it after a small outbreak among humans 20 years ago. You've seen something like this before? Ho-Jin asked. Not exactly the same, but similar enough that our bodies recognize parts of it, she explained. That's why we want living samples. We need to see how it responds, not just analyze dead particles. Ho-Jin felt torn. Council rules strictly forbade giving aliens live samples of the deadly virus, but these humans claimed they had natural resistance. And Sumin was getting worse. Her latest medical update showed the virus had reached her lungs. If I allow this, Ho-Jin said slowly, what would you do? Tae-Wan stepped forward. We have a theory about this virus. We believe it wasn't just randomly created in nature. You think it was made as a weapon? Ho-Jin asked. Many council members had suggested this, but there was no proof. Not exactly, said Yun-Young. We think it was engineered, but with a different purpose. The virus has unusual patterns, like it was designed to communicate. Ho-Jin felt cold. Communicate what? To whom? We don't know yet, said Tae-Wan. But viruses can carry genetic information between species. This one seems built to deliver a specific message. Ho-Jin thought of the millions already dead. A message of death? Or a message that causes death because we don't understand it, said Yun-Young softly. Like a visitor speaking a language so different it hurts our ears. Ho-Jin did not understand this strange idea, but he thought of Sumin again. The standard medical approaches were failing her. I will allow limited live samples, he decided, but I must report this to the council. 3 days later, Ho-Jin stood behind a safety barrier, watching the human team work. They had set up an unusual experiment. In a sealed chamber, they had created a small ecosystem, plants, small insects, and samples of tissue from various species affected by the virus. What are they doing? Asked Tae-Ho, who had joined Ho-Jin to observe. They call it a communication environment, said Ho-Jin. They believe the virus responds to biological diversity. As they watched, Dr. Yun-Young injected the live virus into the chamber. Instead of immediately studying it, the team simply observed for hours. This is not science, muttered Tae-Ho. They just watch. Humans developed medicine differently than we did, said Ho-Jin. They had thousands of years of disease before they had technology to fight it. Suddenly, alarms sounded. Red lights flashed. In the lab, Ho-Jin saw people running toward a side room. What happened? He asked a passing technician. Containment breach in room C, the human said. Someone was exposed. Ho-Jin rushed toward the room, fear gripping him. If the virus escaped on Earth's moon, it could eventually reach Earth itself, a planet with billions of people. He found Dr. Yun-Young standing outside a sealed door. Through the window, Ho-Jin could see 3 humans sitting calmly inside. They had been exposed to the virus. Why aren't they panicking? Ho-Jin asked. They knew the risks, said Yun-Young. And as I told you, we have partial immunity. But they will still get sick, said Ho-Jin. Yes, she nodded. And that will teach us something important. We'll see how human bodies interact with the virus. Ho-Jin could not believe how calm she seemed. You're using your own people as test subjects? They volunteered, said Yun-Young. We learn differently than your people do. Sometimes we need to experience something to understand it. 5 days passed. The exposed humans developed symptoms: fever, coughing, fatigue. But they did not die. Their bodies fought the virus, keeping it contained to their upper respiratory systems. Meanwhile, Do-Hyun sent a message from the council homeworld. Analysis of the virus source had revealed something disturbing. The virus had first appeared near the border of Nox space, a species known for their extreme views against galactic integration. Could the Nox have created this? Ho-Jin asked Dr. Yun-Young as they reviewed the new information. Perhaps, she said. But why? And how does it connect to the communication patterns we're seeing in the virus structure? Before Hojin could respond, his personal communicator buzzed. It was a medical alert about Sumin. Her condition had worsened dramatically. The virus had reached her nervous system. "I must return home," Hojin said, his voice tight with fear. "My daughter has only days left." Dr. Yun-young touched his arm, a strangely intimate gesture for someone of another species. "Commander, we've made a discovery. The virus doesn't just attack cells. It changes them, rewrites them. To kill them faster," said Hojin bitterly. "No," said Taiwan, joining them. "To transform them. The virus carries genetic code that could actually help cells resist other diseases if the initial infection doesn't kill the host first." Hojin stared at them. "Are you saying this deadly virus could be beneficial?" "In its current form, no," said Yun-young. "But we believe we can modify it, change its behavior without destroying its basic structure." "How long would that take?" asked Hojin. Yun-young and Taiwan looked at each other. "Normally, years," said Taiwan. "But we have an idea that might work faster, much faster." "What idea?" asked Hojin. Yun-young took a deep breath. "We want to combine human stem cells with tissue samples from infected aliens. Create a testing ground where we can rapidly evolve the virus into something benign." "The council would never approve such a thing," said Hojin. "We know," said Yun-young. "That's why we're asking you directly. Your daughter doesn't have years, or even weeks." Hojin felt trapped between duty and desperation. What these humans proposed broke every council medical protocol. But Sumin was dying, and the standard approaches had failed millions already. "Show me your plan," he said finally. "Every detail." As Taiwan brought up diagrams on the screen, Hojin made his choice. For Sumin, he would risk everything, his career, even council law. If there was any chance to save her, he would take it. The humans had 3 days to prove their strange ideas could work. After that, it would be too late for Sumin. Hojin watched as the human medical team moved with new urgency. Time was running out for Sumin and millions of others across the galaxy. The humans had set up a special chamber in the center of their lab. Inside it, they had placed samples of tissue from different species affected by the virus. "Explain to me again how this works," Hojin said to Dr. Yun-young. "For thousands of years, humans fought diseases without advanced technology," she said. "Our bodies learned to adapt. We survived more plagues and epidemics than most species. But how does that help us now?" asked Hojin. Dr. Taiwan joined them, carrying a small container. "Most galactic medicine tries to kill viruses completely," he said. "We're trying something different. We want to teach the virus to live with its hosts instead of killing them," added Yun-young. Hojin shook his head. "Viruses don't learn. They're not intelligent." "Not in the way you think," said Taiwan. "But they evolve. They change based on their environment. We're creating an environment that rewards cooperation, not destruction." Hojin looked at the container in Taiwan's hands. "What is that?" "Modified human stem cells," Taiwan said. "We've altered them to have properties of your species' cells." The idea made Hojin uncomfortable. Mixing DNA from different species was strictly controlled by council law, but he thought of Sumin again. The latest report said she had slipped into a coma. The virus was attacking her brain. "Do it," he said. "Whatever you need to do." While the human team worked, Do-hyun called from the council homeworld. His face on the screen looked grave. "Commander, we've found more evidence about the virus origin," he said. "It appears to have been created in a Nox laboratory, a secret one, hidden on an asteroid in neutral space." "The Nox?" Hojin was shocked. "Why would they create such a thing?" "The Nox have always opposed the Council's mission of bringing species together," said Do-hyun. "They believe each species should develop alone, without outside influence." "But this virus has killed millions," said Hojin. "Yes," said Do-hyun. "And it mostly affects species that have mixed the most with others." Those who have adopted, shared technology and medical practices. Ho-Jin felt cold. They're punishing integration. It seems so, said Do-hyun. But there's more. The virus appears designed to eventually stop killing, after it has removed a certain percentage of a population. Like a controlled burn, said Ho-Jin, clearing what they see as contamination but leaving enough to rebuild. Exactly, said Do-hyun. I've presented this to the council. They're divided on how to respond. Some want immediate military action against the Nox. That could start a war, said Ho-Jin. Yes, agreed Do-hyun. Others want to wait until we have absolute proof. How are the humans progressing? Ho-Jin hesitated. He had not told the council about the experimental treatment the humans were developing. They have unusual ideas, he said carefully, but I believe they may help us. After the call ended, Ho-Jin went to find Dr. Yoon-young. She was working, with Taewon in a small side lab. I need to tell you something, Ho-Jin said. He explained what Do-hyun had discovered about the Nox and the purpose of the virus. Yoon-young and Taewon exchanged looks. That matches what we've found in the virus structure, said Taewon. It has a built-in stopping point. It's programmed to become inactive after a certain level of infection. Can you use this information? Asked Ho-Jin. Yes, said Yoon-young. If we understand what the virus was designed to do, we can change its programming more effectively. She led Ho-Jin to the main lab where their experiment was running. Inside the special chamber, the combined human-alien cells were growing. The virus moved among them. What's happening? Asked Ho-Jin. We're watching the virus interact with our hybrid cells, said Yoon-young. The cells have human resistance but alien markers that the virus recognizes. And, prompted Ho-Jin. The virus is changing, said Taewon, pointing to a screen that showed the virus structure. It's trying to overcome the resistance, but our hybrid cells keep adapting too. We've created a kind of conversation between them. Ho-Jin stared at the screen. You're forcing the virus to evolve. Yes, said Yoon-young. But in the direction we want, toward coexistence instead of destruction. How long will this take? Asked Ho-Jin. Days, maybe weeks, said Taewon. Sumin doesn't have weeks, said Ho-Jin quietly. Yoon-young touched his arm. There is another option. It's risky, but it might work faster. What option? Asked Ho-Jin. We use ourselves, said Yoon-young. Human volunteers who are already partially resistant. We inject ourselves with a controlled amount of the virus in the hybrid cells. Our living bodies will speed up the process. You would risk your lives? Asked Ho-Jin, shocked. This is how humans often made medical breakthroughs in our history, said Taewon, by testing on ourselves first. Ho-Jin could not believe what he was hearing. The council would never approve human testing. We're not asking the council, said Yoon-young firmly. This is our choice. 2 days later, 5 human volunteers lay in hospital beds. Among them were Yoon-young and Taewon. They had injected themselves with both the virus and the modified hybrid cells. Now they were sick. High fevers, trouble breathing, pain throughout their bodies. Ho-Jin stood by Yoon-young's bed. Was this worth it? He asked. She opened her eyes with effort. Look at the data, she whispered. The virus is changing. Inside us, the monitoring screens showed what was happening inside their bodies. The virus was still active, still dangerous, but it was behaving differently than before. It spread more slowly. It avoided certain critical cells. It's learning, said one of the human doctors monitoring the volunteers. The virus is adapting to live with human cells rather than destroy them. Can you use this to help Sumin? Asked Ho-Jin desperately. Not yet, said the doctor, but soon, very soon. Ho-Jin's communicator buzzed. It was a message from the medical ship where Sumin was being treated. Her life signs were failing. The doctors gave her less than 24 hours. She's running out of time, Ho-Jin said, his voice breaking. From her bed, Yoon-young reached out and grasped his hand. Her skin felt hot with fever. "Take a sample from me," she said. "The virus in my body is already changing. It might be enough." "It hasn't been tested," said the doctor. "It could kill her faster." "She's dying anyway," said Hojin. "We have nothing to lose." While the doctor prepared a sample from Yoon Young's blood, Hojin received another call. It was Do Hyun again. "Commander, the council has learned of the human experiments," he said. "They're sending security forces to shut down the lab. They say the risks are too great." "When will they arrive?" asked Hojin. 12 hours, said Do Hyun. "Hojin, what are you doing there?" Hojin looked at the sick humans who had risked their lives. He thought of Sumin, slipping away with each passing minute. "I'm saving my daughter," he said, "and maybe everyone else too." He ended the call and turned to the doctor who had prepared the sample from Yoon Young. "How soon can we get this to the medical ship?" "With an emergency shuttle, 3 hours, said the doctor. "Do it," said Hojin, "and prepare more samples. When the council forces arrive, they'll try to destroy everything here. We need to save what these humans have created." As the doctor rushed away, Hojin looked down at Yoon Young. Despite her illness, she smiled at him. "You're breaking your own laws," she whispered. "Yes," said Hojin, "for the first time in my life." "That's very human of you," she said before closing her eyes again. The emergency shuttle raced through space. Hojin sat next to the pilot, watching the stars blur past. In his hands, he held a small container. Inside was the sample from Yoon Young, a modified version of the virus that might save Sumin. "Faster," he told the pilot. "We need to reach the medical ship before it's too late." His communicator buzzed. It was Tae-ho from the lunar facility. "Commander, 3 council security ships have changed course," said Tae-ho. "They're heading toward us, not the moon." Someone told them about the shuttle. Hojin felt cold fear. "How much time do we have?" "They'll intercept you in 2 hours, said Tae-ho. "That's not enough time to reach the medical ship." Hojin thought. "Quickly, contact Dr. Min-jae at Gateway Station. Tell him to prepare his ship. We'll transfer the sample to him. He can reach the medical ship faster." "Breaking council orders is serious," warned Tae-ho. "You could face prison." "My daughter is dying," said Hojin. "Nothing else matters." After ending the call, Hojin looked again at the small container. The sample inside didn't look special, just a pale liquid. But the human doctors said it contained something new, a virus that had learned to live in harmony with its host. The pilot pointed ahead. "Gateway Station in 30 minutes, Commander." Back at the lunar facility, the human medical team worked frantically. They needed to save their research before the council forces arrived. Dr. Tae-won sat up in his hospital bed. His fever had broken, but he still felt weak. Next to him, Yoon Young lay unconscious. Her breathing was shallow, her skin pale. "How is she?" Tae-won asked a nurse. "Not good," said the nurse. "Her body is fighting hard, but the strain is too much." Tae-won reached for Yoon Young's hand. Though they had kept it professional in front of the aliens, he and Yoon Young had been partners for years. Now he feared he might lose her. "We need to modify the treatment," he said. "The balance isn't right." He tried to stand but stumbled. The nurse caught him. "You're still too weak," she said. "I have to help her," insisted Tae-won. "She took the strongest dose of the virus. We didn't know it would affect her this badly." In the main lab, the human team was copying data and preparing samples for transport. Suddenly, alarm sounded. "What's happening?" Tae-won asked, looking up. A doctor rushed into the room. "The council forces arrived early. They're docking now." Tae-won felt panic rise. "We need more time. The treatment isn't stable yet." The facility doors opened with a hiss. 10 council security officers entered, weapons ready. Behind them came a tall figure that Tae-won recognized from video calls. Elder Jisoo from the council. "Secure all samples and research," she ordered. "Nothing leaves this facility." The security team spread through the lab, taking control of computers and samples. 2 officers approached the hospital area where the human volunteers lay. These humans are infected, said one officer. They must be quarantined. They're recovering, argued Taewon. The modified virus works. It teaches the body to fight back. Jisoo approached him. Dr. Taewon, your experiments break council law. Mixing species DNA is forbidden. Creating new viral strains is forbidden. We're saving lives, said Taewon. Isn't that more important than your laws? Jisoo's expression didn't change. Laws protect all species. Without them, we risk everything. She turned to the officers. Prepare all humans for transport to council medical facilities. Secure all samples for disposal. No, shouted Taewon. You can't destroy our work. Millions will die. The council has approved a different approach, said Jisoo. We will attack the source, the Nox laboratories that created this virus. That could start a war, said Taewon. Perhaps, agreed Jisoo. But it will end this threat permanently. As they argued, Yoonyoung's monitors began to beep rapidly. Her heart rate was dropping. She's crashing, called a nurse. Taewon pushed past the officers to reach her. Let me help her. One officer blocked his way. Stay back. Taewon felt desperation and anger rise inside him. She's dying because she tried to help you. At least let me try to save her. Jisoo watched for a moment, then nodded to the officer. Let him pass. Taewon rushed to Eunyoung's side. Her skin had turned a gray color. The monitors showed her organs were failing. I need the latest modified sample, he told the nurse. The one we prepared before they arrived. The nurse hesitated, looking at the council officers. Now, Taewon demanded. The nurse hurried away, returning with a small vial. Taewon prepared an injection with shaking hands. This is our newest version, he explained to Jisoo, who watched closely. It contains modified virus particles that should help her body recover, not just fight the virus. You're injecting more of the virus? Asked Jisoo, shocked. Not exactly, said Taewon. We changed it. Now it helps repair damage from the original virus. He gave Eunyoung the injection, then waited, holding her hand tightly. The room fell silent except for the beeping monitors. Slowly, the numbers on the screens began to change. Eunyoung's heart rate steadied. Her oxygen levels improved. It's working, whispered Taewon. She's stabilizing. Jisoo stepped closer, studying the monitors with interest. Remarkable, but one success doesn't prove your method is safe. We sent another sample to Commander Ho Jin's daughter, said Taewon. If it works for her too, will you reconsider destroying our research? Before Jisoo could answer, an officer approached. Elder, we have a problem. Commander Ho Jin never reached the medical ship. His shuttle diverted to Gateway Station, then disappeared from tracking. Jisoo's eyes narrowed. He's trying to distribute the modified virus against council orders. Because it works, insisted Taewon. Please, just wait for results before you destroy everything. Jisoo seemed to consider this. I will give you 12 hours. If the treatment fails or causes harm, all your research will be destroyed and your team will face council judgment. On the medical ship, Sumin lay very still. The machines around her worked to keep her alive, but her body was losing the fight. The virus had damaged most of her major organs. The door to her room opened. A doctor entered, looking nervous. He carried a small case. Who are you? Asked the nurse, watching over Sumin. Dr. Min-jae from Gateway Station, he said. I have an experimental treatment from Commander Ho Jin. The commander? The nurse looked surprised. Where is he? In hiding, said Dr. Min-jae. The council has ordered his arrest for taking the sample without permission. Will this treatment help her? Asked the nurse, looking at Sumin's pale face. It's her only chance, said Dr. Min-jae. The humans created it from their own bodies. The doctor prepared the injection. As he was about to give it to Sumin, the door opened again. 2 council security officers entered. Stop immediately, ordered one officer. That treatment is not approved. Dr. Min-jae froze, the needle just above Sumin's arm. This girl will die without it, he said. That's not for you to decide, said the officer. Stand away from the patient. The nurse stepped between them. She has less than an hour left. If you wait for council approval, she'll be dead. The officers looked at each other. Then one spoke into his communicator, asking for instructions. After a moment, he nodded. Elder, Jisoo has granted temporary permission to administer the treatment, but full responsibility falls on Commander Ho-jin if it fails. Dr. Min-jae didn't wait for more. He quickly gave Soo-min the injection. Now they could only watch and wait. Would the human approach work? Or had Ho-jin broken council law only to lose his daughter anyway? For 3 days, Ho-jin hid on a small cargo ship. His friend, a trader named Min-ho, had offered him shelter. Ho-jin could not return to his command or see his daughter. Council security forces were looking for him everywhere. Any news? Ho-jin asked as Min-ho entered the small cabin. Min-ho nodded. Good news. Your daughter's condition has improved. The human treatment is working. Ho-jin felt weak with relief. And the other patients? The medical ship has given the treatment to 20. More patients, said Min-ho. All are showing improvement. The virus is still in their bodies, but it's not attacking them anymore. Ho-jin closed his eyes. Soo-min would live. The human's strange approach had worked. But he had broken council law and would face punishment. What? About the lunar facility? He asked. The human researchers? Elder Jisoo has not destroyed their work, said Min-ho. She's waiting to see more results. But there's growing conflict in the council. Some want to attack the Nox immediately. Others want to try the human treatment first. Ho-jin's communicator beeped. It was a secure channel, one that only a few people knew. This is Ho-jin, he answered cautiously. Commander, this is Chief Medical Officer Do-hyun, came the reply. Where are you? I cannot say, said Ho-jin. Have you come to arrest me? No, said Do-hyun. I need your help. The human treatment is working, but I need more of it. And I need the humans themselves. Their understanding of this virus is better than ours. Why are you telling me this? Asked Ho-jin. You follow council law. Because I serve medicine first, then the council, said Do-hyun. And because I have new information about the Nox virus. It's worse than we thought. They've made more strains. They plan to release them soon. Ho-jin felt cold. More viruses? Like Shikra? Similar but different, said Do-hyun. Each designed to target specific mixed populations. The Nox are trying to force all species to separate. Ho-jin thought quickly. We need to get the humans and their research to the council homeworld, but security forces will arrest them, and me, if we appear. Not if you have protection from the highest level, said Do-hyun. Elder Jisoo has seen the treatment results. She's changing her position. Come to the medical station orbiting Talos. Bring as many of the human team as you can. Jisoo will meet you there. On the lunar facility, Yoon-young sat up in her bed. Her strength was returning slowly. Beside her, Taewon worked on a computer analyzing data. How is the new version performing? She asked. Better than we hoped, said Taewon. It's not just stopping the virus. It's using the virus to strengthen the immune system. Yoon-young smiled weakly. So we did it? We turned a killer into a helper? Yes, said Taewon. But the council still doesn't fully trust us. They've only approved limited use of the treatment. A nurse entered the room. Dr. Taewon, Dr. Yoon-young, you have a visitor. Commander Ho-jin walked in. He looked tired with dark circles under his eyes. Commander, said Taewon, surprised. We heard you were in hiding. I was, said Ho-jin. But things have changed. The council needs your help, all of you. The Nox have created more viruses. They plan to release them soon. Eun-young tried to stand, but was still too weak. How can we help? We need to go to the Talos medical station, said Ho-jin. Elder Jisoo will meet us there. She wants to learn more about your treatment approach. Can we trust her? Asked Taewon. She was ready to destroy everything we created. She's seen the results, said Ho-jin. My daughter is recovering, so are hundreds of others who received your treatment. Jisoo follows evidence, not just rules. Yoon-young looked at Taewon. We should go. We need more resources to create treatments for these new viruses. We'll need samples of all our work, said Taewon, and the volunteers who are still recovering. I have a ship waiting, said Ho-jin. We leave in 2 hours. The Telos Medical Station was the largest in the galaxy. It orbited a small moon, far from any populated worlds. Perfect for studying dangerous diseases. Ho-jin's ship docked carefully. He helped Eun-young walk down the ramp. She was still weak from her illness. Elder Jisoo waited for them. Her tall form and silver scales gleamed. Under the station lights, Commander Ho-jin, she said, you broke many laws. To save my daughter, said Ho-jin, and perhaps everyone else too. Jisoo turned to Eun-young and Taewon. You humans took great risks. You infected yourselves with a deadly virus. That's how we learn, said Eun-young. By experiencing, by connecting. A strange approach, said Jisoo. But effective, it seems. She led them through the station to a large laboratory. Do-hyun was there, working with several council scientists. We've analyzed samples of the new Nox viruses, he told them. They're more complex than Shikra, more targeted. Can your human method work on these too? Jisoo asked Taewon. I believe so, he said. But we'll need 2 things. Samples of each, virus and volunteers from each target species. Volunteers to be infected? Asked Jisoo, shocked. The council would never approve that. Then we volunteer, said a voice from behind them. Ho-jin turned to see Tae-ho, his second in command. Tae-ho? What are you doing here? Asked Ho-jin. Supporting you, Commander, said Tae-ho. And your daughter asked me to give you this. He handed Ho-jin a small drawing. It showed Ho-jin standing with the human doctors. At the bottom, in Sumin's handwriting, were the words, "Thank you for being brave." Ho-jin felt his eyes grow wet. He looked up at Jisoo. The old ways didn't work, he said. The humans showed us a new path. Let them help us now. Jisoo was silent for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. The council is divided, she said. Half want war with the Nox. Half want to try diplomacy. Meanwhile, people will die if these new viruses spread. She turned to Eun-young. Explain to me, human doctor. How do you see viruses differently than we do? Eun-young spoke carefully. You see them as enemies to destroy. We learn to see them as potential partners. Life on Earth evolved with viruses for billions of years. They shaped us. We shaped them. Partners with killers? Asked Jisoo. When you only fight something, you teach it to fight back harder, said Eun-young. When you try to understand it, to work with it, sometimes you find a better way. Jisoo considered this. Like dealing with the Nox themselves, perhaps. Exactly, said Eun-young. The Nox fear integration because they think it will destroy them. But what if we showed them another way? Not forcing them to join, not separating completely, but finding a balance. 1 year later, Sumin walked through the new Galactic Medical Academy. She wore the uniform of a student, the first of her species, to join the human-led program. Her father, now Admiral Ho-jin, walked beside her. They stopped at a large window overlooking the lab where Eun-young and Taewon worked with students from 12 different species. They're studying the latest version of the modified Shikra virus, said Sumin excitedly. It can actually help repair genetic damage now. Ho-jin smiled at his daughter's enthusiasm. You'll be working there soon enough. Because of them, said Sumin, watching the humans. They saved me. They saved all of us, said Ho-jin. In more ways than one. In the council chamber, Elder Jisoo addressed the assembly. The crisis had changed her, changed them all. The humans taught us to see our enemies differently, she said. The modified viruses now protect millions, and our new approach with the Nox has opened dialogue that seemed impossible before. She looked at the human delegation seated in the chamber, Eun-young and Taewon among them. They cured our killers, Jisoo told the council. But more importantly, they healed our fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of different approaches, fear that kept us from growing. A strange species, these humans, said another council member. Strange, agreed Jisoo, and exactly what the galaxy needed.